All right, so what we're going to do next is we are going to create the bevels for these boxes right here. I'm going to select one of the boxes and I'm going to isolate it. And I'm going to do that in all of the views. So Shift F so that the box is framing all of the views. And let's go to isolate selected. Okay, these boxes are in the Google Drive. They are called boxes, medium shapes with no fencing. So download those OBJs, replace the ones that you have in your scene if you're not happy with them or if you cannot finish them up, and follow this video to create the beveling. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to select all of the edges and we're going to bevel everything. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to stay with everything beveled. The reason why is because it's easier to bevel everything and then to delete the edges that we don't need. So the beveling is going to require, because when I go to smooth preview, you'll see that most of it looks pretty good, except for these weird corners right here. If I select level one, and then I select the interior lid. So I'm going to go to these faces right here. I'm going to select all of the interior lids minus the sides right here. And I go to isolate selected. Same thing for these boxes right here, right? If I go to 3, everything looks good. However, it's the corners. So let me select everything and isolate selected. I'm going to grow my selection by going Shift period. So you can see what these guys are going to look like. Let's go to isolate selected. Okay, perfect. When I go to 3, right, we get these weird corners right here, which we're going to have to fix with our bevel. Right there, and then right here, and also right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to bevel everything and then get rid of the bevels that we don't need. And I'll show you which ones we don't. Okay, I'm going to select this box right here, Shift F, isolate selected. Level 1, isolate selected. Okay, so to bevel everything, I'm going to go right mouse button, edges, select all of the edges, and I'm going to go Shift right mouse button, bevel. But before I do that, I want to make sure that I have this cube right here that will show me. Oh, it looks like I beveled everything by mistake. All right, so let me go ahead and undo this. Undo, perfect. Okay. So I'm going to bring in the cube that we're going to use to match the fencing for the other geometry. So let's go ahead and select the fencing cube. I'm going to hit F to see where it is. It's probably hidden because of the isolate selected. Fantastic. So let's select that cube, this box right here, isolate selected, and I'm going to have to do that again in all of my views. Hit F. Hit F. And what I'm going to do with this cube, I'm going to go to W and I'm going to press V. That's snap to point. I'm going to snap it to the corner of this box. And now I'm going to select the box and our little fencing cube proxy. And I'm going to do Shift F. Perfect. Okay. So here's our cube somewhere right here. Oh, wrong place. W. Let me center the pivot. V. Put it right here and make sure that it's all over the place. Fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to select this cube right here, and you'll notice that when I move this cube to this corner right here, I'm going to go D to disable the pivot point and V, and I'm going to move this to this corner, hit D one more time, and now I'm going to press V and move it right here. You'll notice that this right here, if I create a fencing of 0.5 on this box right here. Let me bring up my grease pencil. I'm going to create a line and I'm going to draw those. Oh, the color picker is disabled. Okay, no big deal. I'm going to select this right here. All right, so if I go to a bevel of 0.5, we're going to get a line. Let me unisolate select it real quick. We're going to get a line that's going to go from here to here on this side. Over on the top is going to go like this. And then here is going to go from here to here and here to here. Think of the 0.5 as half the distance of this face right here, right? This face right here and this face right here, or this one here and this one here, right? But if you were to split that, if you were to split that, let's say right about here in the middle, okay? So you're pretty much saying, hey, this edge right here is going to need a fencing. This edge right here is going to need a fencing, right? So I want these guys to be in the halfway point, the 0.5 of each one of those edges, right? So that's why it's creating the fencing here and here for 0.5. Okay, if I go to a fencing, let me clear this real quick. If I go to a fencing of, let's say, 0.1, right? For this edge right here, it will be right here. And for this edge right here, it'll be in the same place. So that's why when we do a fencing of 0.1, we get only one bevel here, and then here we'll get another bevel, and so on and so on. So we're gonna do a fencing, pretty big fencing on these edges right here, because as you can see, right, we cannot go from one side to another side because it will not match. So let's go ahead and move this guy out of the way. And let's go ahead and select all of our edges. So I'm going to go right mouse button, select the object, right mouse button, edges. I'm going to select all of the edges, and we're going to go shift bevel. Let's go to the options, make sure that chamfer is not selected, and we're going to leave it to the default of 0.5. And you're going to see that it's going to create bevels everywhere. Now, if I increase this from 0.5 to, let's say, 0.6, you'll notice how these get closer together. If I go to 0.8, even closer. And when I go to 1, there's going to be some weirdness because these guys are trying to be in the middle and sharing space, but it's just not working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep everything to 0.75. So it's almost 3/4 of the way, right? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start eliminating edges that I don't need. So for example, if you remember, let me undo all of this right here. Our edges were these edges right here, right? So the corners, it had a reinforcement here, 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 and stuff like that. So if I give it a bevel, I'm going to start with 0.5, right? For example, here, these guys I would need. So, by the way, if this happens, you select either an edge, a vertex, or a group of faces, and then hit F so that it frames on those guys. And now you can easily rotate this with no problem. So this is the fencing of 0.5 and 0.5 for this edge right here, 0.5 and 0.5 for this edge right here. Perfect. So these guys are going to need them, right? But this one right here, I don't need this edge right here. Now, why is it that I don't need this edge? Because the fencing has to be from this edge right here. These are two separate edges. This is one, right? And this edge right here. This one I don't need. Okay. So here on the top, we need this edge here, but we don't need these two right here. So I can hold shift, double click here, double click right here. Perfect. Okay. So I need this edge here because it creates the bevel in the corner. This edge right here, right, because it creates the bevel in this corner. This one is a corner, so there's nothing I can do. But these guys right here, right, it put a bevel on this edge right here, but so I don't need this one or this one, right? So there you have it. Now here on the inside, if I go here, we need this edge here and this one for this corner here. So for this corner here and for that corner over here. But we don't need this one here. Hold shift, double click, and we don't need this one right here. So these guys we need, but this one here and this one right here we don't need. These guys we need because of that corner, right? These guys we need because of this corner. These guys we need because of this corner right here. But this one here and this one right here we don't need. Now what I did right here on this corner, I'm going to look around, right? The side of the edges we do need, right? Over here, we need all of this. These guys, I eliminated as many as I could, right? And I'm going to go shift right mouse button, delete edges. Perfect. Okay. You're going to see some of them have 3, like this guy right here, because this is a corner for the former lid, right? And some of them are going to be 2, fencing of 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Now, why do we have 3 here? Because of this corner right here. This one is going to go on that lid of the box, this one's going to go all the way around. So I'm going to repeat this on the opposite corner. I'm going to go right here, and I'm going to go over this one more time. Before we do that, let's go over here. Now, this one was the original edge here and here. There's no need to bevel these guys. So I'm going to select this edge, shift select these guys. Shift right mouse button, delete edge. Perfect. Right? Fantastic. Okay. All right. Excellent. So now we're going to go to this corner and do the same thing and go all over again. So this is a corner. This is a corner. That's a corner. And this is a corner, right? So let's go ahead and deselect this one here. If I hit F to frame these, right? So these right here are all corners. So I need this edge here. I need this edge right here. I need this one and this one, but this one's I don't. So I'm going to double click here, shift double click right here, because that goes, as you can see, on the internal lid of the box. So we don't need that. We'll get these guys later on, right? Let's go back here. Now this one I need because of this corner, but I don't need this one right here. So shift double click on it. This is our bevel right here. These are for this corner right here. This one we already cleared it before, and that's all we can do right here. So shift right mouse button, delete edge. Perfect. Now let's go to the opposite side and do this one more time. So for this right here, we don't need this one or this one, right? So you'll see that they serve no purpose. They're in a flat area all the way around. These guys we need, these guys we need, these guys we need. This is the corner right here. That is clean. So let's go to the opposite side. And that is pretty much it. Shift right mouse button, delete edge. So now when I go to 3 for smooth preview, you'll notice that we have a really good retention of our volume. Perfect. Let's continue. I'm going to go to 4 to wireframe to show you the interior of our lid. So let's go to 1. So for the interior of our lid, if it's kind of hard to see, so let me go to 5 and let's go underneath here, wireframe unshaded. Okay, this guys we don't need. This was the original edge here and here, right? So when we bevel everything, we got these two. So select this one, shift, select this one, and this one. And remember the correct way of deleting edges, shift right mouse button, delete edge. Fantastic. Now, everything on the inside we need because everything forms part of a corner. Again, if I click on this face right here and I hit F, well, let's select these guys right here, F, it will frame this corner for us. Let's go to F one more time. All right, so all of these form part of the corner, right? This is a corner right here. This is a corner right here, a corner right here. So we need those edges. We need these edges. Okay, let's look at the inside and see what we don't need. So it's going to be in the bottom. So for the bottom, right, anything that comes from the top, we do need, right? Again, let's explore these guys right here. I'm going to select this edge right here, hit F. Fantastic. Okay, so we need these guys right here. We need these 3 right here because of the top corner, right? But this one, we don't need, this was the original edge, so we don't need this one or this one. Shift right mouse button, delete edge. And now the interior is completely done. You'll notice that all of the corners look the same. This looks the same. And this right here looks the same. Perfect. Okay, so this box is done. What we're going to do next is we're going to explore the bottom and we're going to ask ourselves, okay, anything that comes from the top we need. But what about this edge right here? This was the original edge. Do we need this one and this one? No. Shift right mouse button, delete edge. And that's pretty much it. Now, it looks very complicated, but it's not. The last thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go to center pivot, freeze transformation, and delete history. I have these guys in the wrong order because this is the default. Perfect. Okay. So now when I go to 3 and I hide my wireframe unshaded right here, you will notice that we have a great beveling. We have that gap that most boxes have right here. And we have the same sharpness all the way around. And this is how you create beveling on those boxes. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, that these boxes have been uploaded into the Google Drive. You guys can download that OBJ called boxes, medium, shapes, no fencing, and follow this video to create the fencing, and you guys should be all right.